You got to make it to formation, even if you're a couple minutes late. So what I was saying is that Old Line is the highlighted whiskey of the month. Every month we have a different veteran-owned whiskey that we highlight. Old Line is owned by 2 Navy vets. You might have seen them on other podcasts talking about their whiskey. I'm looking forward to having them on this show so we can hear more about them and their military history. And that's a fact, Jack. What's up, Tommy D? Abso-freaking-lutely. Who else is in the house? Papa's in the house. Let's drop the link so we can have some guests come on with us. Come on with it. Those of you that were here at the beginning and caught the audio difficulty because my microphone needed to be completely reset up on the computer, but it did. That's freaking Independent Joe. I know that. I know.
Cheers, brother.
Came to join me in this fancy lounge I have for us.
Yeah, man. I felt like I was at home. This looks like the north wing of the house that I decorated not too long ago.
Well, I didn't see that one because nobody's at your house. Nobody's allowed in the west wing and the north wing, right?
Yeah. No,
don't go into the west wing.
No, I usually the north wing is shut off to visitors and guests. Cheers, Mr. Mom.
All right, so this is Old Line's American Single Malt. It's 114 proof, and it says it is Navy strength. And so that is not only our featured veteran whiskey of the month, but this is also the first pour I've had all night, and it's 114. So let's just go for it. Cheers. Lots of apples and pears and whatnot. Is that the bakers in the house? What up? What's up, bakers?
Hey, we're drinking Old Line as
Some
well.
Old Line.
This is
No way.
cast strength, not quite Navy strength, but about the same.
I think it's a little hotter. It's
122, 123.
123.2 or
Okay.
0.6.
So, well, when they come on the show for the interview, we'll have to figure out
seen the Air Force run so fast.
why they chose.
That Air Force runs fast.
Oh, you got some Old Line too, right on.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Love to see it. So when they come on the stream for the interview, we'll have to talk to them about why 114 is Navy strength. I know that when we did the interview with Heritage, they put out the howitzer strength 105, because everybody knows a howitzer is 105 millimeters, and the howitzer services all branches. Yeah. Speaking of all branches, I'm about to put a poll in the chat. And we're going to find out what branch everybody's representing tonight.
There's only one.
I beg to differ, sir.
There's only army of one, isn't there?
Negative. It's Army Strong.
Oh, is it? They changed it. Okay.
They changed it.
Oh, they've changed it many times. It was be all that you can be. Then it was an Army of One. Now it's Army Strong. So
just messing.
I know, buddy. No, thank you for being here. So I know Tommy D's drinking some Old Line. I know that Baker's
actually no. I haven't drank it yet. I'm drinking some Forgate. I just grabbed a bottle of the split stave.
Oh,
they had to get rid of Tommy's aim.
And then I got this one. You remember this one, Mark?
How high he was getting.
Dude, that blender, I love that.
What
blender.
Doc Swenson is that?
Yeah, Doc Swenson's. Mark sent me that for. I don't know. I can't remember which year it was for Vic's.
Christmas
Santa
or something?
1 year.
I hear that Mark guy's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
I
like.
spent 10 hours in the car today, and he did he's here and he's amazing.
Great shot is awesome.
Crazy story.
I appreciate you guys. Which branch did you or your family serve in? Army.
Nothing.
Army, Coast Guard, Navy,
Your
Marine.
Army ROTC.
Is there another choice?
Katie, I wish I had the rum with me. So, Katie, Vic, Hello Whiskey Friends, Durrell, those guys, they did an old line rum pick that was finished in a single malt. It is phenomenal. I'm forgetting somebody else who was part of that.
All right, so the poll is in the chat. Which branch did you or your family serve in? It is Army and Coast Guard, Navy, Marines, Air Force, Space Force, and another country's military. So just drop it in the poll, which one that you are representing. Go ahead and shout it out in there. Army and Navy. Appreciate you, Eric. Much appreciated.
Space Force.
Troy gave me quite the look because he's Navy, but I kind of did Army ROTC.
She hovered on Army.
I hovered, but we got the Navy one clicked for the poll.
All right, so before we get into the next subject, just want to let you know, all you guys watching, if you're watching the replay or if you're watching it live, if you click on the video description, you will find the website and Instagram pages for Old Line, which is our featured veteran whiskey of the month. Also in there, you will see the website and the information you need for Warriors and Whiskey Club. The Veterans Whiskey Club is what we're doing this monthly get together for. So if you know any veterans that need somewhere to hang out, somebody to talk with, where you don't have to drink and drive, and you don't have to drink alone, you can get together and drink with other veterans. We're going to talk about some veteran topics tonight and have a good time. But make sure you're drinking water. So somebody in the chat, start a timer every 10 minutes. Holler out, drink water. Drink water, hydrate, beat the heat, drill sergeant.
I'm drinking some water.
Hydrate.
Cheers.
Got to make sure you're taking care of yourself, drinking more water than you're drinking whiskey. All right. I do that to my kids. I do the exaggerated.
I did that too. Especially with Kool-Aid.
Anthony's in the house, the most articulate man in whiskey too. Appreciate you being here, Anthony. If you're not subscribed to Bourbon Neophyte, get on it. The Turks, if you're subscribed to Drifting Drams and buy some of their coffee. Whiskey Shits is in the house. If you're not subscribed to Livewire, get on it. They do a great Sunday evening hangout. Wilmington Piper, what's happening? A couple shout outs real quick before we move on to honoring the fallen. Father was World War II vet Army. Okay, so you're kicking it off with honoring the fallen, Douglas. I appreciate you. I'm going to put that name on the board. Doug's father. I'm going to put it in red. So what we do here every single month is we honor the fallen. That way we can share with other like-minded veterans and whiskey enthusiasts about people that we love that are no longer with us. If it was their birthday or if it's the month that they fell in April, then give them a shout out. In April, on the 26th, was my buddy Staff Sergeant Povolitis. He was my fellow squad leader, and if you guys were ever in a platoon, you know that how deep the squad leaders run together. So he was first squad leader. I was second squad leader. And we did everything together. We did our, we looked for bombs and bad guys together. We did our laundry together, called our wives, at the same time. We went everywhere together. Well, one day I went on leave for R&R. And then when while I was gone, he went out without me, and an IED found him and blew him in half, and no longer had a Sergeant P. So I put him up for my Honor the Fallen. Sergeant P was a good dude. And we got Doug's father. Appreciate you. So Doug's Pops is on the board. ASMR Whiskey's in the house. What's up?
I've got one. I guess it's a little late. He passed away last month. My Uncle Dean, he was a Marine. He was a vet of the Vietnam War, and he passed away last month.
Oh, man.
Sorry for your loss.
Condolences.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Laura. I've got Uncle Dean on the board, and we will raise a glass to him. So I've got a couple to pull up. Anybody in the chat or on the panel have any more? I know that a good friend of the channel, Orlando, sent me a couple that I'm gonna pull up for you. And if anybody else has any they want to add, feel free to do that time now. And if you don't have anything to share, get a glass ready for us to pour it up.
Was this people we know?
If someone's birthday was in April or they passed away in the month of April.
I was just thinking of Gene Hackman.
Oh, snaps. Wasn't Gene Hackman a veteran?
Yeah, he was a Marine.
Marine.
Oh, hell yeah. Got to put Gene Hackman up there.
I was kind of surprised to find out he was actually fighting the communist Chinese after World War II, up until about 49, I think it was.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Something to look up if you can find any information about it.
All right, West Virginia Bourbon guy. I got your
There
dad
you
on the
go.
board. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate you. All right, let's see if I can share the screen. Yes, I understand what I'm doing. Thank you for double checking. Oh, that's not the one.
I guess ASMR is just gonna have to forgive me for being a Canuck and getting it wrong. Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
So Orlando's uncle was in Vietnam, passed away in April. I appreciate you sharing, Orlando. And hold on, I want to get his name right. TSTG Dasso. Had another one here. Let me know if I missed
Think
one.
of anybody.
Oh, that was from March. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, got him. Okay. Appreciate you. All right, I gotta get my shot ready over here. Did you guys see any in the chat that I missed? I don't think so. But I appreciate you guys all being here with me. To raise a glass to the fallen. I've got a special personal signed horse soldier glass that I raise to the fallen every month.
Sherry finished Old Line.
Just once again, I want to thank everybody who shared their loved ones that are no longer with us, and we remember them as long as we still say their name and share their stories with other people. Lest we forget, till Valhalla.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
And when we honor the fallen, we have to keep in mind that over 22 veterans a day take their own life. And one thing that we do to remember that and bring it up as an issue and to keep ourselves stronger so we keep fighting is we do 22 push-ups a day. Troy, what are we on? 29?
20. It's either 29 or 30. It's a lot for this fat old man.
So every month, Troy and I started a thing that we do one more each month, and I think we're on 29. But
right.
Everybody else, if you are willing and able, I ask you to grab some floor, push that earth, do 22. Let's knock it out.
I'll do it in spirit.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23,
Lay your head down, fat dog.
26, 27, 28,
Lay it down.
29. Dang it, Laura, your giggling almost got me. I tell you what. She got the giggles over there.
Dude, if I go on the ground, I ain't getting up.
I think Troy was tickling her, trying to get her to not do all of them.
No, I was doing like dog assisted push-ups there. He would not get out of the way, so I was like hitting his head every time I would go down.
I can't believe you can hear me from across the room.
Oh my god. That is too funny. All right, so next we did honoring the fallen after we did the veteran whiskey of the month.
Dude, what happened to your car?
Say again?
What happened to your car? The engine popped out or what?
No, I'm waiting for it to come. It overheated.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I can't wait here until it cools down enough to get it the rest of the way home and still make formation. And so I had the wife come pick us up, and tow truck driver came to pick up the car because I drove 8.5 hours roughly. The car going up one of the steep hills. You guys know the Bakers, Highway 18.
Oh yeah.
So I came across 90, then got onto 18 and was going up the hill, full sun, in traffic, stop and go. So it was just, car started overheating. So I pulled over and I was like, I'm not going to make it in time for formation if I wait for this bad boy to cool down. And so I had the wife come pick me up and had a tow truck come get it. And I'm waiting for it to pull in. I'm going to have to go watch it. I'm just hoping it comes while we're watching a video, so I don't have to interrupt anything.
Well,
it was an event.
Kind of an easy fix.
It was an event.
Hopefully.
Let's see. All right, so looking at what's going on this month. First thing, Navy Reserve birthday. Goodness. Oh, this is March. Hold on. There you go. So the Air Force Reserve birthday, Gold Star Spouses Day. Nice. So that's a day dedicated to those whose spouses saved their lives while serving the U.S. Army. So April 5th, that is today. Today is Gold Star Spouses Day. So I'm going to raise my glass to that. Oh, I need to hold on. I got to drink some water first. Drinking water. All right, drank some water. Now I can raise a glass of whiskey to the Gold Star Spouses. All right, next up is the Air Force Reserve birthday. Mm-hmm. And then a short 9 days later is the Army Reserve's birthday. And oh my goodness, you guys know, for the Army Reserve's birthday, I had to find the most over-exaggeratedly hardcore Army Reserves commercial I could find. Time for water. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you. So can't wait for you guys to see this pile of cheese right here. I tell you what. Oh my god, this is so good. Army Reserve's birthday.
That was crazy. You're muted.
Hold on. Why is this not playing the audio now?
I
It was
heard it.
playing to hear.
Come on, we want to hear the audio to that super cheesy commercial.
Hey, Troy, are those like stickers and patches and stuff behind you?
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. From all the different channels and stuff that we've worked
Okay.
with.
Uh-oh. Bye-bye.
Why'd you offend him, Tommy?
Huh? I don't know. I jinxed him.
You jinxed him, man.
I couldn't tell if some of those were military patches and stuff like that, or if they were just all whiskey stuff.
Man,
Well,
that
I'm
horse
trying
soldier's
to-
so good.
Sorry, I'm trying to get this to share the audio.
Did you get any horse soldier, Tommy?
I don't. I haven't pulled the trigger on Horse Soldier yet. There's a
If
store
you
here
can
though
find
that
one of
has
those
pretty good.
10-year bros, grab a 10-year horse soldier.
That's what I'm hearing. I know Vic,
Yeah.
No,
Vic can
that's-
say 10
that's-
years is a good one.
That is a fact. It's just
That
not
is-
words.
Dude,
that is true.
the store where my house is, I'm up in Cheyenne, Wyoming right now, but
Uh-huh.
where my house is, they've got a $500 bottle of
Yes.
Horse Soldier. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grab it. Grab it.
No, unless you send me your tax refund, maybe.
Yeah. No, I have one of those. I'm gonna buy the other one.
What's so special about it?
Well, it's a long story, and we only have an hour and a half left to go, so I won't go into it. But it's
Okay.
It's just a special bottle.
Oh my
Gotcha.
goodness.
I'm just trying to keep the conversation going while Mark is fixing his thing.
No, I appreciate that.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking there, Ben? The Demon Hunter? Oh shit! See, you're behind the curve there. Tommy.
Well, it's the bottle Mark sent me. So
I am,
Oh, gotcha.
I am behind the curve.
I realize it's down to about 20% now. So it's being enjoyed.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why.
Mark, you need some IT support.
I figured it out.
Nobody needs no stinking IT.
All right, my goodness. All the settings had to be completely reset because I didn't have time to set anything up before I started.
Hey, Joe, is that 23 or 24, 1783?
This one's 23.
Yeah, that's a good one. I thought it was better than 24, but yeah.
All right, so in celebration of the Army Reserve's birthday.
Oh, damn.
hilarious that this was when I looked up Army Reserve's birthday, I got this video and I was like, how did they find this set of the most Army looking stuff ever to play?
4077.
It's hilarious. Twice the citizen. What? I'm like, I don't know, what does that mean? What is twice the citizen? That I thought that was hilarious and very appropriate for the Army Reserves.
Looked like too many people were smiling there. That's
Yeah.
They all embraced the suck.
They were embracing a whole lot of suck there.
I bet it was your black man.
Speaking of embracing the suck, I have to go get my keys from the tow truck guy, and so I'll be right back. Just keep the veteran talk and the whiskey drinking going. I will be back in just a minute, guys.
Yes, sir.
Independent Joe, your turn to entertain.
Oh, and drink water.
Actually, it's your turn because while he was fixing the audio, I was entertaining, and you jumped off.
I fell off.
Are you still drinking the same thing? Is there anything you could say? You have Horse Soldier, right?
I do. Which one are you going to drink?
Well, right now we poured the 10-year.
All right, I can go grab a 10-year.
No, it's all right. I'm just saying. I was just going to say you have it. Tommy needs a little convincing because he keeps passing it up.
Horse Soldier 10-year. If I would have grabbed it in 2024, would have been top 5 whiskey of the year.
Is that a new
There's other reasons
release?
why I haven't grabbed whiskey, but I'm moving. So
How long has the 10-year been out?
How much longer you got? It's been out for what, 6 months, 7 months?
About 6 months, yeah.
Yeah, just last year, huh?
Yeah.
Joe, the house is empty and it's probably going to go up for sale here Wednesday of next week. So I'm in a temporary rental for 2 months.
Oh, I got you. All your stuff is in storage, already sent out.
Sold, given to my kids.
Really?
Yeah, we're not taking anything over there. I mean, I've shipped personal items and stuff over there, but not like furniture, nothing like that. So
Over there, where are you talking?
Okinawa, Japan. My wife is Japanese.
Okay.
I met her when I was over there, and we moved back here in the States, got stationed back here in 2003, and have been here since. And then she's like, "Time to go, time to go back home." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
You got to listen to Mama.
Yeah,
Um,
kids are old enough. I'm in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where my kids are living, and my
Good.
daughter works for the VA. My son works for Sam's Wholesale, and figured I'd come up here, spend some time with them. And it's cheaper to rent up here than it is in the Denver area where I was living.
No doubt.
So
Yeah.
I took care of it and I got the keys. Thank you, honey.
Are you
Over.
going to get what you want for the house?
You know, Joe, it's kind of a long story. I hope so. Today, the contractor was supposedly done with painting and fixing and stuff, and I'm not happy with the way he did it. So
Oh, gotcha.
Monday, I have a
I said I got
meeting with him and the realtor.
Thanks, babe. Over.
This was her guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Over and out, 10-4.
Good buddy.
And my wife is in the Philippines right now and coming back on the 14th.
Hmm.
So, with our youngest.
Oh, nice. I got a buddy.
My mom turned
I got a buddy
80.
who's he married a Filipino, and they're down there, and I think he's trying to. I don't know if he's just getting a visa going for her to get over here and kind of visit, or if they're going to move. I don't know yet, but
Mhm.
yeah, he's having fun down there. I was in the Philippines, so I went down to QB Naval Air Station in Subic when that was closing because the U.S. lost the lease on the property. So I went down there to help with the air operation out of there.
So you and Stanley must have been there close to around the same time then.
Stanley was there?
Yeah, I think he said he was there when they were closing.
Okay, yeah, so that was like 1991. So I was there for like 4 months. Lost my mind. Recently divorced, and then went down there. And was like,
Thomas Anderson's in the house. What's up, Thomas? Good to see you. Marvin is in the house. What's up, Marvin?
What's up, Marvin?
Eric says it's already time for water again. Let's drink some water.
What are you doing every 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you to everyone that served all branches of the U.S.
Definitely drinking more water.
Joey, and speaking of, let's check in on the poll. How's that poll doing? We got 45% Army Coast Guard, 28% Navy Marines, 14% Air Force Space Force, and 14% are from another country's military. Guys, thank you for participating in the poll. If you have not participated in the poll, please click that so we can represent where you're from.
Maybe I should jump off. I can't click on it on live here.
Even if you're in the other ones, click on Air Force. Just kidding.
All right, so hold on. The freaking phone.
I heard a very interesting statistic about what country has the biggest Air Force. It's the Americans, right? The American Air Force. You know what the second biggest Air Force is?
No.
The Marine Corps?
U.S. Navy.
Yeah, U.S. Navy. I was going to say.
I thought the Army had more planes than the Air Force and more ships than the Navy.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just thought it was a funny thing.
Like, they're probably counting the Marine Corps' aircraft too with the
inflatables.
Navy.
Yeah, no doubt.
As aircraft, yeah. I don't know if that's what the percentage of that is true.
Is the Army counting drones these days?
Well, that's contentious.
Yeah, but I do know that I was saving this video for this month, but then I found out something interesting about it. So let's watch this video, and then I'll tell you what I found out what was interesting.
Work is underway in the state legislature to use tomorrow to recognize a group of brave men who fought in World War II. As News 8's Ken Houston tells us, some say it's a long overdue honor.
They were young black men soaring into history. Now, a special piece of legislation is coming in for a landing in memory of a group of unsung heroes.
This is about recognizing the Tuskegee Airmen here in Connecticut and understanding the significance and the contribution of this important group of men.
It's estimated that 1,000 young men trained to be Tuskegee Airmen. 66 died in combat, but some are still alive today, which makes this day even more special. On behalf of Governor Ned Lamont, a proclamation was presented declaring April 26th as Tuskegee Airmen Day in Connecticut, the same day as their final flight.
Pass the House already. If it passes the Senate, this will be something that will happen on an annual basis. It's incredibly important to know our history.
These men are America's first black military aviators. They flew more than 15,000 sorties in Europe and Northern Africa during World War II. Dr. Robert Harris's father was one of them.
We need to recognize the Tuskegee Airmen. They haven't been recognized most of their lives, and it's time we make up for that.
The airmen are actually credited with fighting two wars back in the 40s, one in the air, the other against racism, a subject family members say they rarely talked about.
These were gentlemen all of their lives, and they tended to focus on the positive and the future. And that was why they did not talk about it with me as a young person.
But a new exhibit at the New England Air Museum in Windsor Locks is helping to tell their story.
The Tuskegee Airmen were excellent. They were resiliency. They were fighters in a time when it was really incredibly difficult, and they weren't just wonderful. They were exceptional.
They were also courageous, succeeding against all odds, one flight at a time. In Hartford, Ken Houston, News 8.
Is that Is that a newer video or is that the date on it?
Hold on. I'll tell you the date. All right, Meow. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this. Go. No, stop sharing. Exit down. This was 11 months ago. And so it was this time last year, Connecticut put forth to have April 26th be the Tuskegee Airmen Day and have it be the 26th of April because that was the date of their last mission. And so when I found that video, I saved it to share with you guys for the month of April for the Veterans Whiskey Club thing to do for April, right?
Yeah, well,
Nice.
cheers to them.
And oh, absolutely, cheers to them. I'm raising the glass. But I will tell you what I found out, which made that very interesting to me. Hold on.
There's not too many people left, is there?
Of the Tuskegee Airmen?
Yeah.
Must not be.
There's probably a handful of them.
Hold on. Let me pull up my thing because I saved the other video to show you guys what I'm talking about.
Well, in celebration of National Tuskegee Commemoration Day, Lemoyne honored the legacy of a.
Let's share this one with you guys to show you what I found confusing because, like we just saw, Connecticut said the last day, April 26th of their last mission, should be the National Tuskegee Airmen Day. Right? Makes total sense. But
well, in celebration of National Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day, Lemoyne Owen College honored the legacy of America's first Black military pilots and support personnel. Our visual storyteller, Ronald Duthay, shows us how today's event inspired a new generation to reach for the skies.
My name is Luke J. Weathers III. This is my father, Lieutenant Colonel Luke J. Weathers, Jr. He was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen from Memphis, Tennessee. He's been credited with shooting down 7 enemy aircraft, and during his combat days in World War II, he flew over 112 missions.
So, Taste of Aviation and the Memphis chapter of Tuskegee Airmen are glad to be here, Lemoyne Owen, where we have identified over 150 Tuskegee Airmen and a few women from the Mid-South, including Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. We know there was a Lemoyne graduate named Willard Lewis Woods who graduated from Lemoyne College. He became a Tuskegee Airman. He earned the Distinguished Flying Cross.
I'm Calvin James. I went to Tuskegee University, which was Tuskegee Institute at the time, from 1967 to 1971. While I was there, I was trained by Chief Charles Alfred Hamilton, who taught me how to fly. He was the individual who flew First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt when she came to Tuskegee before the Tuskegee experiment was started.
I wanted my grandchild to come and observe and just hang out so she can see it. I'm praying that she's going to be a trailblazer as well.
We don't want their history buried or forgotten. It's something to cherish, something to carry on, something to pass on to the next generation.
all right, so what I thought was funny about that, where does it say it? I found that they made the National Tuskegee Airmen Day the 4th Thursday of March. Where did I read that? Where was it? But you know what I mean? So Connecticut tried to make it the 26th of April.
Yeah.
And then they made it the National Day on the 4th Thursday of March.
Yeah, but I mean, different places do different celebrations for.
Right.
You know.
No, I don't understand why they didn't make the National Day the day that Connecticut proposed, is what I was saying. Well, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, maybe there was a conflict or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe there's a different celebration
Day
day for that area or something.
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, shoot, I mean, their contribution, their sacrifice, you know, they lost a lot of
absolutely
in the air too. So
well, yeah, that's why I saved it. I wanted to make sure to to honor them when that time came.
Heck yeah.
Oh yeah.
So any idea why the federal one's in March?
No, I didn't see any justification of why. That's what I was bringing up, is that I thought that part was interesting and somewhat confusing.
Well,
Right.
you know, Jesus didn't actually die on the 25th, you know, so.
No, he wasn't born on the 25th.
Oh, he was actually born on the 25th.
That is 100% accurate. Speaking of 100% accurate, we're going to move on to talk about some Medal of Honor recipients from the month of April. I know there's a lot to choose from when it comes to Vietnam and World War II, and there's a good amount from the global war on terrorism. But how many of you guys heard from World War I?
Ooh.
Going way back.
Posthumous or what?
Like reclining chairs, way back. Yeah. Let's open a new tab. Hold on. So, I actually found a Medal of Honor recipient
Medal of Honor Society. The printers this week
from the month of April from World War I, and I'm excited to share this crazy ass story with you, guys, especially if you've been in a even somewhat similar situation. And you got to skip through a bunch of this video because the guy introducing the video rambles on about his subscribing to his thing, and
dirt is his business.
Yeah.
And now, a tale of honor. Jesse W. Covington was born on the 16th of September, 1889 in Egypt, Tennessee, and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Shortly after enlisting, he was sent to France in support of World War I, and it was his actions aboard the USS Stewart on the 17th of April, 1918, that would earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads, "For extraordinary heroism following internal explosion of the Florence H. The sea in the vicinity of wreckage was covered by a mass of broken and smokeless powder which were repeatedly exploding. Jesse W. Covington of the USS Stewart plunged overboard to rescue a survivor who was surrounded by powder boxes and too exhausted to help himself, fully realizing that similar powder boxes in the vicinity were continually exploding and that he was thereby risking his life in saving the life of this man. Jesse W. Covington died on the 21st of November, 1966, and is buried in the Oak Grove Cemetery in Portsmouth, Virginia."
Okay, so he survived his actions, right? But to put into context, how many of you guys have ever been on a boat? You guys in the chat, I'm sure there's the majority of the people here watching the replay or watching in the chat. Majority of you guys have been in a boat. If your intention is not to jump in the water because you're in uniform per se, because you're wearing regular shoes or boots or whatever, you have a hesitance to jump in the water. But of you guys who've been on a boat in the ocean, to where you're not on a lake, you're not on a river, you're in the ocean, there's sharks, there's whales, there's giant squid, there's all kinds of nonsense, and you don't even need all that for the hypothermia or just exhaustion from swimming to wear you out and kill you, right? So in World War I, this guy, Jesse Covington, was aboard a ship who came upon a ship that had wrecked in whatever was going on with it. They had satchels of dynamite in packages, or it was exploding all around him. And so it's from what I got from that, the description that the guy just shared, is that he was the only living survivor that they could see. So he's not jumping in to save 15 or 20 people. He jumped in the water to save one guy. And there's things exploding all around him. And he still jumped in the water and saved one guy. I think that's some pretty heroic shit right there.
Yeah, that's a hero for sure.
So that's I don't know. That's just crazy because you always think, what would you do in those situations and stuff? Like and that you see your brother in the water, you that first instinct is to help him, you know?
Right. Yeah. Throw him a life preserver. Tell him to grab onto something that floats, even though a lot of the shit floating around him is exploding.
Yeah.
And
First instinct is, what the hell are you doing in the water?
Then I guess my wires are crossed because I don't know.
And then you jump in, right?
Yeah, that guy totally jumped in and saved him. And I think that's freaking fantastic. The greatest generation.
Dude's a hero, for sure.
Speaking of, talked about World War I do not have many stories about World War I vets, but that was one that I thought was pretty freaking cool. And there's not much that you can find about that. But we're going to move on to a World War II veteran that earned the Medal of Honor in the month for his actions that took place in the month of April. And so all you guys out there, grab a glass of whiskey, sit back and watch this tale of honor about a World War II veteran. And once again, thank you for being here. I poured another glass of the veteran whiskey of the month, the Old Line Navy Strength American Single Malt. And I'm going to learn about a World War II Medal of Honor recipient. Let's go.
Henry Eugene Irwin was born in Adamsville, Alabama in 1921. Raised in a large family, he was compelled to take up work at the age of 10 when his father suddenly died. He later abandoned school in his sophomore year to work in the steel mills and provide for his family. In 1943, Irwin enlisted in the Army Air Corps and eventually became a radio operator on a B-29 Super Fortress. In the winter of 1944, Irwin headed for Guam, leaving his wife of 3 months behind. There he joined a crew of 11 men and flew in some of the largest and most dangerous air raids of the Pacific Theater. Among these was the infamous Tokyo Fire Raid.
One night we had Tokyo burning 17 square miles. My squadron was going in at 5,000. And we lost 14 V-29s that night, most of them carrying 11 to 12 good, outstanding men.
On April 12, 1945, during a routine mission to Koriyama, Japan, Irwin's life changed forever.
We were flying out of North Field, Guam, and we were designated lead plane by General LeMay. And we had 75, 80 B-29s in the rear. And I was dropping phosphorus grenades so they could identify us, those that were in the rear. They only had about 8 or 10 seconds delay from time they would explode. And they burned about 2,000 degrees. When they dropped out of the chute in the radio operator position, they explode and give out a vast amount of smoke.
For an unknown reason, a bomb malfunctioned, exploding in Irwin's face and setting him aflame with white-hot phosphorus.
We usually hit a airport or it was a defective bomb. For some reason, that thing exploded and we were going down. The plane filled with smoke and my pilot, Tony Simrel, he couldn't see the instruments. And I realized I had to get it out, otherwise we were all going to die.
In a desperate attempt to save the lives of his crew, Irwin grabbed the flaming bomb with his bare hands and began crawling to the front of the plane.
I knew we were going down. Finally got to the cockpit. I asked Roy Stables, my co-pilot, to open the window, and I flipped it out.
Irwin threw the bomb through the co-pilot's window just seconds from disaster. Smoke cleared the cockpit, and pilot Tony Simrell was able to pull the plane out of its dive at only 300 feet. Irwin collapsed in flames.
All my clothes were burned off, and I had flesh peeling off of me, but I was never unconscious.
The crew abandoned the raid and headed for Iwo Jima to try to save Irwin's life. Shortly after the plane landed, a citation was drafted for the Congressional Medal of Honor. His injuries were so severe that Irwin had to be lifted out of the plane through a window. At 5 a.m. the next morning, Major General Curtis LeMay was awakened and given the Medal of Honor citation, which he forwarded to Washington with word that time was quickly running out. The only Medal of Honor in the Pacific was stolen from a display case in Pearl Harbor and flown immediately to Guam to be awarded to the dying hero.
Wow.
On April 19th, 1 week after the incident, Irwin received the Medal of Honor at a field hospital in Guam.
General LeMay, he and all the bigwigs came on Thursday, 1 week later, April 19th.
He looks pretty good, though.
And gave me the Medal of Honor.
Irwin was not expected to survive his injuries. His burns prevented him from eating, and he dropped quickly to just 87 pounds. But with the support of his wife,
87 pounds?
He endured over 40 plastic surgeries and eventually recovered.
I don't say I'm a hero. We have more
TRICARE covers
freedoms in this country than we realize. But if the youngsters will look and see what price has been paid, because freedom is not free.
Nope, not at all.
Oh my goodness. That dude took a white phosphorus to the face.
Yeah, he grabbed it too and then threw it out the window. He must not have had any fingers.
Goodness gracious, man. That's crazy, dude.
I'm going to add somebody to your list from remembrance.
Yeah.
Lance Corporal Joe Jackson. He was one of the 17 Marines.
Oh yeah.
That passed away. He was actually the first one of that unit to pass away, and he actually died on my birthday, which is crazy. So.
Oh shit, dude. So okay.
Lithuanian stuff or what?
What's
Lance
that?
Corporal Jackson. I put Lance Corporal Jackson up there.
What'd you say, Tom?
When did he pass?
April 28th, 2011.
Oh, okay, 2011. I thought you meant like recently.
No.
Okay.
I mean, still remember him, you know?
Right. No, I understand. I thought maybe you were talking about something new.
No. I when he was doing that, I wasn't thinking. So
Gotcha. Well, condolences, Joe. Cheers. Salute.
Cheers.
Come by.
Thanks for sharing, Joe.
Did something just recently happen in Lithuania?
Lithuania? I know there was 4 soldiers that got. I'm not saying it's Lithuania, but I heard 4 soldiers just passed away or died. Not recently.
I didn't see any. Now I looked up recent events 2 or 3 days ago for tonight's show. So I didn't. If it happened in the last 24 hours or so, I haven't seen it.
There was also a singular soldier that died.
Yeah, 1 day ago or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're able to look up the story and share the page when we get to current events, I would love to share it.
Yeah.
4 soldiers died in a training exercise.
We saw World War I, World War II. I got a video of Korea. there's not much spoken about the Korean War. There's really not. Which brings me to something that's near and dear to my heart that I'm going to share with you guys that I've never talked about before. My stepfather, he did 20 years in the Navy. His brother, his older brother, was in the Army as an MP, got attached to an infantry regiment when they went to Korea. He was killed in November of 1950. And they did not receive his remains or even really know what happened for 3 full years because he died north of the parallel, like he died in North Korean country. And so when I was there in Montana, I got to see a box of his memorabilia that I've never seen before. So it had his old. This is from the Korean War. His MP patch, his Army issued sewing kit, his brass whistle that said "Property of U.S. Army," pictures of him, his Bible with a 1941 stamp in it, some money, other emblems, and other things that he had on his uniform. That's a picture I took yesterday.
Nice, brother.
Really, really freaking cool. And hearing him talk about how hard it was for their family, the pain he felt knowing that they didn't know what happened to his older brother and they didn't receive his remains to bury him for 3 full years. The Korean War was definitely a different animal. We just haven't had to deal with that. It's a whole different story.
Yeah, there was 4 soldiers that died in a training exercise
I got it in
in
the background
Lithuania.
if you want to show it.
Well, I want to get to that when we're talking about Medal of Honor recipients historically, and then we're going to get to current military news. Yeah, when we get to current military news, I definitely want to hear about that because I haven't heard about those guys. I haven't heard about them at all, and I'm looking forward to hearing about them. But we did World War I and World War II, and so I want to show you guys a Medal of Honor recipient and share his story from the Korean War. So grab a glass of whiskey and listen to this story. My Uncle Ben was a Korean War veteran.
I tried to enlist in the service, and we were told that we could not. We were classified as 4Cs, which was enemy alien at that time. And a lot of these Japanese American boys were interned in these camps throughout the country, but many of them volunteered for service. I felt I was an American like anyone else. Well, they said, no, you have to prove yourself because you're at war with the Japanese, and that's our ancestry. You have to prove that we're loyal to this country.
Early in 1944, 18-year-old Hiroshi Miyamura was assigned to the Nisei 442nd Regimental Combat Team, which would gain fame as the most decorated American unit in the war. He shipped out to Europe just as World War II ended, but he would not see combat until 1950, when his unit was called to active duty in Korea.
When we landed in North Korea, it was winter in November. It was the coldest I've ever been in my life. Never received the food that we needed, let alone have the proper clothing or anything like that.
Cheers, Ben.
Miserable. It was a miserable time.
Time
we
for
made
water.
our way up to the eastern side of North Korea, near the Chosin Reservoir. In fact, we were so close to the Yellow River, we could, from my position, I could see the enemy mass on the north side of the Yellow River. After the Chinese army moved in, we were told to pull back south of the Emchen River. And I was, being a machine gun squad leader, was told to hold this position as long as I could, because we knew we were outnumbered so bad that it would be impossible to hold it.
As night fell, Miyamura and his handful of men sat listening to the approaching sound of Chinese troops banging on pots and pans and blowing whistles. When the noise suddenly stopped, there came a burst of flares, followed by a massive attack. Miyamura and his group opened up with .30 caliber machine gun fire as waves of communist soldiers stormed their position. When the enemy threatened to overwhelm his group, Miyamura rose from his machine gun and charged them, killing 10 by bayonet and rifle fire.
Shit.
He then returned to his gun, and when it jammed, he manned the last working gun and told his men he would cover their retreat.
I realized they were getting behind my position, so I told the members of my squad to withdraw, and I covered their withdrawal. Stayed and covered their withdrawal. Our own artillery started falling on my position, phosphorus bombs. So I realized then they thought everyone was off of the mountain. So I started making my way down, and I ran into an enemy. I bayoneted him, and he had a grenade, and he threw it at me, and I kicked it back, and it went off. I didn't realize then I was hurt, but I made my way down the mountain, which was quite a mountain. But by the time I got down to the base of the mountain, I ran into a barbed wire entanglement, got cut up. I dropped to my knees, I crawled underneath it. I ran until I just dropped. And I laid there, I heard footsteps, a lot of footsteps go right by my position. But I didn't move. And when it died down, I thought I had it made. But a voice in English said, to get up, you're my prisoner.
Miyamura was led, along with his comrades, on a brutal forced march through the withering temperatures and unforgiving terrain of North Korea. The bitter, month-long journey led to a POW camp, where he was to be held captive for the next 27 months.
27 months?
Started, the Chinese said we were going to go home, but that went on for 2 years. My wife wasn't even notified. She just got a letter that I was missing in action. That's because the Communist Army would not release names.
In the summer of 1953, Miyamura was turned over to U.S. authorities at Freedom Village in Panmunjom. He was debriefed and then led out to meet the press, where Brigadier General Ralph Osborne hailed him as the greatest VIP to pass through Freedom Village. But Miyamura had yet to discover why.
I crossed over to our side, and there was a reporter waiting for me to talk to me, and when I walked in that room, the commanding general of my division was standing at a table, and he said, do you know why you're here? And I said, no. He said, you had received the Medal of Honor. I remember all I could say was, what? Until I saw that flag, the Star-Spangled Banner, waving in the breeze, that I know. I've learned what it represents. That alone is what makes you feel so humble. So many of the fellows that were deserving never came home to any kind of recognition. There are so many Americans that do not know what the medal represents or what any soldier or service woman or man does for his country. And I believe one of these days, I hope one of these days, they will learn of the sacrifices. that a lot of these men and women have made for this country.
My goodness, man. I don't remember any time that I've heard about the story of a prisoner of war from Korea. That was an amazing story. I'm gonna raise a glass to him. That was man.
Cheers.
Yeah. Wow.
There's just so many people that amazing people who serve this country, you know, and not every one of them is recognized.
Right.
You know, such as yourself, Mark. You know?
Absolutely.
Z-Man, you're muted, by the way.
No. That was actually
where?
That was actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Shut
Goodness fucking gracious.
the fuck up, Joe.
There you go, right there.
I love you, Z-Man. Okay.
So we're moving from Korea to Vietnam in order of march. Medal of Honor recipient, and we are going to share his story and learn what happened in Vietnam in the month of April. A story you haven't heard before. Did anybody else have anything they wanted to share about the story from the Korean War Medal of Honor recipient?
Nope.
I thought that was crazy because not only was he a prisoner of war for 27 months, but while he was a prisoner of war, he was awarded the Medal of Honor, and he didn't know about it until they came to pull him out.
Yeah.
They said he was the VIP of the POWs. And he didn't even know what they were talking about. That's freaking... I don't know, man. I just thought that was amazing. All right, moving on to Vietnam. Yeah, I just want to tell you guys I appreciate you guys doing this with me every month. I love you guys. And all you guys that are watching the replay or in the chat, if you know any veterans that need other people to talk about military stories with, tell them to come join us every month for this.
Appreciate you doing this, Mark. I'm not on here all the time.
Are you guys going to be good now?
I was raised in Minnesota, and Little House in the Prairie. There is a Walnut Grove, Minnesota. That's where I went to school, grew up, farm kid. And mom, dad, sister, brother, typical poor family, but we didn't know we were poor because, depression, but everybody had a lot of food because we were farmers. Dad was an entrepreneur. I got my take a little bit of a chance mentality from him. My mom was a negotiator. I went to her if I wanted something, and she went to my dad. And I learned negotiating skills there. I had a brother who served in Korea. All four of my brothers-in-law were
Appreciate you, Vic.
World War II guys. One was killed. So those were my heroes, family, and good role models for me.
19-year-old Leo Thorsness enlisted in the Air Force in 1952. Though he enlisted during the Korean War, he would receive his wings and commission when the war was coming to a close. Thorsness would serve for over a decade in a peacetime Air Force until 1966, when Vietnam became his war. He was flying a modified F-105 as part of the group known as the Wild Weasels.
I was in a thing called Wild Weasels. The Air Force has got to have a code name for everything. Military. Wild Weasel. Vietnam was the first time there was surface-to-air missiles. You could shoot down airplanes. Our job was to find and kill SAM sites, surface-to-air missile sites.
On April 19, 1967, Thorsness was leading 4 planes on a mission over North Vietnam, deep within enemy territory.
It was pretty much of a typical Weasel mission. There'd be 4 airplanes going first. I, as the leader, I always split my flight of 4 into 2 elements. We'd cover north and south of the target, east or west, basically. And we try to give them twice as much pleasure, the SAM guys, the guys on the ground shooting at us. We had destroyed one SAM site, we were rolled in another one, and my wingman got hit. And I, told him to head for the mountains, and we were over the flatlands south of Hanoi. To get close enough, maybe in the mountains, you could have a chance to rescue her. He got into the foothills, and the airplane quit, and both he and his wingman ejected. I could hear the beepers. I homed in on the beepers. You got an automatic direction finder, so I could find them. And about the time I picked up the chute, the MiG was rolling in on one of them. So I rolled in the MiG, and he and I got into it, and we ended up shooting that MiG down.
It's time for water. Time for water.
Because his aircraft was low on fuel, Thorsness was forced to depart the area in search of a tanker. Upon being advised that 2 World War II rescue planes, known as Sandys, were orbiting near the down cruise position, and that there were hostile MiGs in the area posing a serious threat, Thorsness quickly refueled and returned to help.
So we come back in, and I'm headed back towards that shoot-down site, to that area. And Sandy 2, which is their call sign, says, Sandy 1's going in, Sandy 1's going in, the MiG's got him, he's going in, he just hit the mountain. And so he said, help, in essence. Not believing it would work, but I said, Sandy 2, you turn that airplane as hard as you can, right on the deck, slow down as slow as you can get, they'll never stay with you. And I'll come into you, I'll run through you, and I'll pick them up. And we did that, and somehow the guy survived. And we ran through them, and all the MiGs jumped on me, he got out. A 105 couldn't turn hard for long because of the heavy airplane with little bitty wings, but it sure could go fast, 800 knots. And we outran these MiGs right on the deck, and it's going supersonic at 20 feet, with the rice fields. That's exciting in itself. I'm headed out, my backseat and I, Harry and I are headed for a tanker over Laos, and in about 10 minutes, I get this radio call that you never hear in combat or enemy territory. You always use call signs. Cadillac 1, this is green. He said, Leo. Well, that gets your attention.
When it became apparent that an aircraft in the area was critically low on fuel, and that the crew would have to bail out unless it could reach a tanker, Thorsness, low on fuel himself, gave up his chance to refuel and headed instead toward a forward base.
My backseat and I thought, we weren't sure about when we gave our tanker up, we thought we could make it to Thailand and eject the Mekong River. Laos, bad country, Thailand, good country. And so we climbed to 35,000 feet, and when we hit 70 miles from the river, you could glide 2 miles per 1,000 feet in that old airplane. Pulled it back to idle, indicated zero fuel, and not only did we make the river, we made U-Dorm, which is 8 miles past it, and we ran out of fuel as we got it hit the ground.
Awesome.
11 days after I flew that mission, which I finally received the Medal of Honor for, I was shot down. 100 missions was a full tour, and I was shot down on my 93rd mission. So we were so badly hit. We knew we were out of business. I put my helmet against the side of the canopy, had a visor. I couldn't see out, the smoke was so thick. And the stick was just flopped. The rudders were gone, the engine, everything was gone, and we knew instantly we were out. So, and we hadn't been 2 seconds since we hit again. So we were ejected about 600 knots. But I looked down, and clearly I could see muzzle flashes, rifles. It's hard to hide in parachute. That's really hard. We were probably a mile apart here, and we were both captured. It's a tribal area. These people have never seen electricity. They've seen it, but they don't have it. We went from absolute high tech to abject no tech. And it was just surreal, but it was happening. They got us to the edge of the foothills, and we stayed there that day, and they interrogated Harry and I separately in a pig pen, literally pig pens. They take you out and beat you, and I was able to stick with my name, rank, so on day of birth, so was Harry. And then that night a truck came, and they took Harry first about dusk and into Hanoi, and 18 days and nights of torture at Hanoi Hilton. It was a very brutal time, and it was very difficult the first time I broke and went past name rank, because I thought it was the weakest night. It was the worst day of my life. I hope it was worse than being shot down was when I broke, because I thought, I bet nobody else did. I had about a year of solitary, which is not untypical. That was pretty routine. But when I got in the other guys, I found out they too had broken. And then with the tap code, I found out everybody that survived eventually went past name rank, and that was very comforting. Not that I was made me strong, but it made them more equal in my eyes. And I found out I wasn't the worst, I wasn't the weakest. You get into the prison system and you work your way through it. 3 years were brutal, 3 years were boring. It took a lot of adjusting to get used to that routine of not having freedom, and that's why freedom turned out to be a no doubt the most precious commodity we have.
Wow.
But with the tap code, prison tap code, I got a message said, Leo, did you know that you had been submitted for the Medal of Honor? And I didn't. And so when I came home, a total of 6 years after the action or so, a little over that, I was received a Medal of Honor.
That's crazy.
It's hard for me to convey how important freedom is. And I didn't appreciate it. And I don't know that anyone can until they've lost it. It doesn't happen automatically. It's got to be re-earned by every generation, or at least every other generation.
Absolutely.
Long it's gone. I think most feel we're just temporary guardians of the Medal of Honor. We happen to be the guy that was recognized, and it could have been one of many people that did as much or more. They weren't recognized. They were killed. There was nobody who witnessed it. We happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I think we wear it for all veterans. And really, I think we wear it for any American, civilian or military, that does the job they're assigned, no matter what it is, the best they can do it, and they're responsible. I think that's what makes them great.
Yeah. Yeah. So he said you don't really ever appreciate your freedom until you lose it.
The app is easy. I know that I'm going to be ready to perform.
That is absolutely true. But after he said you don't appreciate freedom until you lose it, he said each generation has to re-earn the freedom they have.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know if that's happening.
I don't know if you mentioned it last month. John McCain was imprisoned for 5.5, 7
Right,
months.
at the same Hanoi Hilton. Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
He didn't get the 108. I believe there was 108 soldiers that were released at that time, but he wasn't released. And it was like before I was born. Like it's just crazy to hear these stories and think,
Sergeant Matthew O. Williams.
The sacrifice that they had to give to even earn back their freedom.
Yeah.
Damn. That dude said they flew supersonic at 20 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 768 miles per hour at 20 feet off the ground.
Yeah, you would think that if you tipped a tree, that would obliterate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is no room for error.
Yeah, no room for error.
You clip anything.
And just being in that vicinity when it's passing by you, that percussion itself would just.
Oh, yeah. And he said they were tribal regions, right? So those people had no idea what that was.
But yet they had shotguns.
All right, so this is the last Medal of Honor recipient video we're going to watch tonight because we did World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. This is a Medal of Honor recipient from the Afghanistan War on Terror. And so let's watch this video real quick before we move on to the modern news.
Meet Sergeant Matthew O. Williams, Medal of Honor recipient. This is his heroic story. April 6, 2008, Afghanistan. Sergeant Williams was part of an assault element inserted by helicopter into a location in Afghanistan. As the assault element was moving up a mountain toward its objective, it was engaged by intense enemy machine gun, sniper, and rocket-propelled grenade fire. The lead portion of the assault element, which included the ground commander, sustained several casualties and became pinned down on the sheer mountainside. Sergeant Williams, upon hearing that the lead element had sustained casualties and was in danger of being overrun, braved intense enemy fire to lead a counterattack across a valley of ice-covered boulders and a fast-moving, ice-cold and waist-deep river. Under withering fire, Sergeant Williams and his local national commandos fought up the terraced mountainside to the besieged element. Arriving at the lead element's position, Sergeant Williams arrayed his Afghan commandos to provide suppressive fire, which kept the insurgent fighters from overrunning the position. When the team sergeant was wounded, Sergeant Williams braved enemy fire once again to provide buddy aid and to move the team sergeant down the sheer mountainside to the casualty collection point. Sergeant Williams then fought and climbed his way back up the mountainside to help defend the lead assault element that still had several serious casualties in need of evacuation. Sergeant Williams directed suppressive fire and exposed himself to enemy fire in order to reestablish the team's critical satellite radio communications. He then assisted with moving the wounded down the near vertical mountainside to the casualty collection point. Noting that the collection point was about to be overrun by enemy fighters, Sergeant Williams led the Afghan commandos in a counterattack that lasted for several hours. When helicopters arrived to evacuate the wounded, Sergeant Williams again exposed himself to enemy fire, carrying and loading casualties onto the helicopters while continuing to direct commando firepower to suppress numerous insurgent positions. His actions enabled the patrol to evacuate wounded and dead comrades without further casualties. Sergeant Williams' complete disregard for his own safety and his concern for the safety of his teammates ensured the survival of 4 critically wounded soldiers and prevented the lead element of the assault force from being overrun by the enemy. Sergeant Williams' actions are in keeping with the finest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself. Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force Afghanistan, Special Operations Command Central, and the United States Army.
Awesome.
Do you need a free, easy way to
that is
gameplay?
just
Introducing
100% what was going on in those crazy valleys, in those mountainous regions of Afghanistan those times. And
he's now a sergeant major, by the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's fucking.
Or, I don't know if he retired, but I know his last as of 2020 was he got promoted to 2020-ish. He got promoted to sergeant major.
Really? Okay. So I'm gonna pour some heroes to him.
I just poured once a Marine, always a Marine, but
once a Marine, always a Marine. Hey, you know what? Speaking of, let's check on the poll. How are we doing in the poll?
Space Force has to be
winning. Let's do a refresh.
Frog Stomper's running away with it.
Army Coast Guard 44%, Navy Marines 28%, Air Force Space Force
there must be a lot of Coast Guard in
15%,
here.
and other countries' military is at 13%. Thank you guys all. Yeah, if you
Thank
voted
God
in the
we're beating
poll,
other military services.
If you have not voted in the poll,
Tommy.
if you haven't voted yet,
Space
vote.
Force.
If you have voted, thank you. I tell you what, I appreciate you guys being here.
I gotta take the dog out. I'll be right back. You can kick me off if you need.
Who let the dogs out?
I'm gonna be behind you here in a little bit.
Whoa, this is a family channel.
So I'm gonna kick him off because when we were honoring the fallen, I missed 2 of my fallen comrades. Merlin Quiles was he died April 12th of 2015. Now Quiles, he went to 2 deployments to Afghanistan, and then when he came back from those 2, he went to Ranger School. He passed, he got the Ranger tab, then went to Sapper School, passed, got the Sapper tab. He went to Afghanistan again. And he came back, and he was still this like super charismatic, great guy. He always he had like the party house. We spent the night there multiple times, staying up late, drinking with this guy. And one night, I don't know where he was going, but he was on his motorcycle late at night, and he was hit and killed by a drunk driver here in America.
Damn.
And so my buddy Quiles was killed on April 12th. And my Kabaj, I met up with Kabaj when I got to Triple Nickel, and he was an absolute character. And he died you know what they call suicide by cop, where you do like a standoff.
Yeah.
He legitimately did that, and he died on April 29th. And so, Kabaj, I served with you in the Triple Nickel, and you went out one of those ways. We did push-ups for you earlier, man. I wish you had one of us to call instead of getting to that point where he literally fortressed himself in his house and put up like a little bunker and all that shit. And I wish you had another way out of that, man, my friend, because I would have loved to fireman carry you out of that one instead of it going the way that it did. But so I put Quiles and Cabage on the board here because I didn't put them up earlier, so I wanted to correct that. Now we're moving on to our news. That is the modern day. What is going on nowadays? I have Independent Joe's screen to show first. What do you got going on here, Joe?
There's a video. It looks like I don't know if that's a video. It just says listen to the article now, but I guess it's. But the 4 U.S. soldiers who died in Lithuania swamp, their vehicles sank, are identified. You got Staff Sergeant Duens at 25, Staff Sergeant Franco at 25, PFC, sorry if I mess up your name, Teatano, 21, and Staff Sergeant Collins Collins at 28 of Michigan.
So what are you gathering happened there?
They drove in the wrong spot in the damn vehicle.
Did they find the last guy? Because there was
they did.
Oh, okay.
They found him.
They found 3 right away, and then they finally found the 4th. But yeah, I don't know. Jill's got a different article. They didn't really say how, but I mean, if they drove
it was a bog, right?
Yeah, but
yeah,
I guess they drowned. I mean, I don't even know what kind of vehicle they're driving. Does it say?
A 70-ton. They were driving a 70-ton.
Oh, geez.
The Hercules.
Yeah, that went quick then.
Yeah. Quickly sank through the investigation ongoing on what happened. So it's still ongoing.
It's believed that the soldiers drove into a swamp where the vehicle quickly sank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were on their way to recover another vehicle that had broken down during a training exercise.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I had not heard of it. So you said four service members died?
Yes.
Man. And where was that?
Lithuania. They were on a training exercise, yeah.
So
and the Lithuanians are celebrating it, or not celebrating, but honoring them.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm writing down that 4 service members died in Lithuania in a training accident.
What, 2 days ago? April 3rd?
Was it April 3rd?
Yeah, I had not heard about that. That's pretty crazy. One of the big things that I pulled up, as you guys know, when it comes to major conflicts, when there's a major conflict going on, they kind of lower the standards in the military. They try to get as many people as they can. There's been a few times in our history that they implemented a draft where they're just pulling anybody in. But the opposite, when you come to the tide, the ebb and the flow. And so right now, when we're not, when we're like, they are looking to cut numbers. You know what I mean? They're looking to reduce the force to save money, because for some reason, saving money is more important than having a strong military force, because we're not as needed today. Like as of right now, today and yesterday. And so they're looking to reduce force up to 90,000 active duty soldiers. And so when I was looking at current military news, that's one of the first things that popped up. And
90,000.
When it comes to what's going on in the world, when it comes to what's going on with China and Russia and Ukraine and Israel, and I don't need to even bring up Iran. I mean, there's so much shit going on in the world today. I don't know how far I would cut down our troops.
No.
to save the freaking budget. Because if you're looking to save a dime, I think there's another place you could save a dime than having troops ready to react to contact. Now, I'm no expert military strategist by all means, but I'm just saying, when you get to that point to where you need a draft to let every 19-year-old that can't do 12 sit-ups, why didn't you keep the ones that could?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, 90,000. See, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
So when I looked up military news in the current day of today, I saw that reduction of force coming up more than any other story.
Yeah, Thomas Anderson says he still has his draft card for the Vietnam War when he wasn't drafted though.
Yeah, I highlighted that earlier. I saw that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Time to drink some water. Thank you.
Got my Northwest bourbon on there.
I appreciate you. All right, so we talked about let's do just a real quick recap before we start closing it down. The veteran whiskey of the month. Our veteran whiskey of the month is from Old Line. There's two Navy vets. They're both Navy pilots that met while they were in the Navy here in Washington State, Whidbey Island.
It's a single malt, right? American single malt.
It is an American single malt, 114 proof. And this is our veteran whiskey of the month. We are highlighting this month. And we have other offerings from Old Line here. And we are expecting to have Old Line here for an interview next week. I'm super excited about it. And we'll learn more about them then. So the veteran whiskey of the month is Old Line Navy Strength American Single Malt, 114 proof. We honored the fallen. And then we talked about military history news, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan War, the Army Reserve's birthday, the Tuskegee Airmen National Day. Talked about the Tuskegee Airmen.
Air Force Reserve's birthday. Don't forget that.
Yep, Air Force Reserve's birthday, but they didn't have a super
already forgotten.
They didn't have a super video online. Tommy, I need you to talk to the Air Force Reserves about getting one of those fancy videos online so we can share it next year. So when it comes to our current military news, we talked about the 4 service members that died in a training incident in Lithuania, and we talked about the current Army force being reduced significantly because they're trying to cut the budget, even though their world is a fucking shithole right now. Roger that. Let's move on. So after that, the last thing we got is an AAR. So if we're going to do this again next month, which we are, how can we do it better than we did this month? And so everybody watching it live, everybody watching it on a replay, you guys on the panel, if you have any constructive criticism, I've got wide shoulders. I can take it. I want to make it better next month than it was this month. So any constructive criticism, let's have it, and I'll put it up on the board.
Make sure you have enough water in your radiator so you can get home safely.
I was going to say, allow yourself a little more time with the travel.
Okay, so yeah, I was burning, dude. Like, so we left, we stopped for gas, then we stopped to eat and use the bathroom and gas, and then we kept going. So on a 10-hour drive, we only stopped 3 times.
Were you on vacation? Were you hunting? What were you doing?
So spring break.
Okay.
The kids are out of school every year for like the last 10 years. I take the kids to my mom's place in Montana to help her with the house chores inside and outside. It gives the kids good, hard labor to do. It helps my mom with the stuff she can't keep up with her property because she lives on the backside of a mountain in Montana. And so her acreage, they have a lot of fallen trees. They can't go out there at their age to chop up fallen trees and do burn piles and stuff like that. So I take my kids up there every year to give them some work to do. And I'm telling you, they love it. It's the highlight of the year. We have a great time.
Beautiful up there.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous, man.
Yellowstone.
But what I did is exactly what Troy was insinuating, is that I did not take a nice leisurely long trip home where we stop every 2 hours. We stopped for gas twice. We stopped to eat twice. And one of the times we stopped for gas, we ate. And so we only stopped 3 times in an 8.5. When you stop, it's a 10-hour trip. We only stopped 3 times. And each time we stopped, it was like 10 or 20 minutes. And it wasn't my radiator that overheated. It was the transmission.
Oh,
damn.
Yeah.
We saw your post last night from Montana. It's like, oh man, he's got a long haul.
Yeah.
Were you towing anything? Were you pulling anything, or just what kind of
just hauling it? He was hauling ass, Tommy.
I was definitely hauling ass.
He's in a 1970s Gremlin. I think it's time to upgrade the vehicle. Family.
Okay, so when we can backstage this. Okay. When it comes to doing the Veterans Whiskey live stream, what can we do better next month?
Well, okay, so next month is going to be May.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe a little more research on. Are you going to go through the whole World War I, World War II, that thing again?
As long as I can find a Medal of Honor recipient from each major conflict, I'm going to highlight them.
So have that going.
That's sustain.
Make sure. I would say just give yourself a little more time to set up. And if you're running, low on time or whatever, it's okay to delay, like 5 minutes.
Okay. So to make sure the audio and everything was good,
to make sure that
you're
you're good.
Late for formation if I show up with my gig line straight.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Do they still blouse pants?
Yeah.
At legs?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will not relax the grooming standard for anything.
No.
So showing up, no, I 100% agree, because like the first 5 minutes of the stream, my audio was jacked up because I didn't ensure that shit was straight before I went live. I was so concerned about being on time for formation, I didn't make sure my gig line was straight.
Yep.
And so I could have shown up late for formation and made sure everything was straight. That would have been better. Yeah.
There was another, looks like a Medal of Honor recipient, Private First Class Harold Gonsalves, for his actions on April 15th of 1945. So
what
there was a bunch in 45.
I just named one.
Yeah.
That's all I was trying to name, was the one.
There was a Joe. I'll show you.
Orlando has sent me a thing. There is a new Medal of Honor museum in Arlington, Texas. There was multiple cities bidding on this. Multiple cities in our great country bidding on getting this Medal of Honor museum. Getting built, and Arlington won. They got the thing, and it's built now. And from what I understand, they just recently, like within the last 90 days or so, opened for you to go. And there's thousands of Medal of Honor recipient stories at said museum in Arlington. So Orlando's saying to mention it, which we just did. Thank you, Orlando.
Oh, that's like Fort Worth, Dallas area. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, all. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you, Troy, man.
Troy, man, I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for your service and foot stomping those grapes.
Dude, Troy, man, is a good dude.
He is. He is.
If
He
there's
can't
anybody's
really
nasty feet, I want on my grapes to make wine.
can't drive any fake
this
cars on
Oh,
computer games.
dude, you're back. B. Bauer, good to see you, buddy.
So, looking up Medal of Honor recipients for the month of May, right?
May, next April. Yeah.
Private First Class Whit L. Moreland with the 1st Battalion, 5th Marine threw himself on a grenade to save his guys.
Moreland, Moreland.
This is for May. This is for May.
Okay. So I'm going to write that down so we make sure we check that out in May.
It came up with about 3 of them. I got 3 of them that came up.
How many Medal of Honor winners are there?
Hey, Bill.
Are they winners?
Send them to me in a text or an email.
Recipients.
Got you, dude. I'll send it to Messenger. I'll send it to Messenger.
No, absolutely. Just highlight them and copy pasta and send those to me because I want to highlight those. Right now we're talking about.
Tommy, there are 3,528 Congressional Medal of Honor winners.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Less than 0.0000000% of the population has ever been.
Yeah.
And that's since 1861.
But when it comes to what happened this month, anything that we could do better or we could make sure we do the same next month?
I don't know. You can get a tan, man. Look like you've been out in the sun.
I was out all week long. All week I was out at my mom's property cutting up fallen trees and clearing up her property.
Well, you look good, buddy. You look good.
I absolutely love the videos, Mark. More of that.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah.
So sustain on the once per generation Medal of Honor recipient thing.
Was it last month we saw the drone IR footage of the dude that
Yes. Yeah.
If you could get stuff like that brings tears to my eyes.
Oh, dude, that was awesome. So so more actual combat footage.
Okay. That wouldn't hurt the channel at all?
Go watch last month's replay, Tommy. That video is a tearjerker.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, Troy.
That was crazy. So Tommy, there was ISR assets, the drones flying overhead, and so the narration was going on when you're watching the drone ISR asset, watching this dude go from this point to this point and getting fired upon, taking out.
He was Air Force too, right?
He was covering the helicopter, extracting his buddies, and he was shooting at the bad guys that were trying to stop the helicopter. And dude, it was so intense.
Oh, I think like drones taking out people. Okay.
No. It wasn't drones taking out people. The drones were just watching.
It was a drone. Okay, yeah, coverage of it. Okay.
Yeah,
I will watch that.
It was like middle Afghanistan era, right? It was like 08 or something.
I think it was like 08.
Yeah, it was no, that was awesome video. But I know what you mean, Troy. You're talking about real life video combat footage instead of a lot of the stuff that happens to those Medal of Honor videos. They're like pieced together stuff.
Yeah, recreations or like dramatizations.
And I love those
dramatizations. They're just put together to
clickbait.
Yeah, no, to support whatever thing that they're showing. A lot of them are pretty legit. But
I love those old CMH winners on there talking about their accolades. But I want to see the shit.
Yeah, when it comes to modern age drone footage, it's hard to beat that. And I feel you on that. Let's try to get more of that. So I put more actual combat footage on there.
There you
was
go.
Lithuania the tank that just sank?
Yeah, they went in to get a tank with the recovery vehicle, which is basically a tank.
Yeah, and it's
70 ton. Joe said.
Yeah, Yeah, it's basically a tank. It's just set up to be a tow truck.
A recovery tank instead of a combat tank.
You're not muted. I can see you.
And
Right,
then
it just sank a week or two ago, right, Tommy?
What's that?
It was like a week or two ago. Right?
It was a couple days ago.
It was a couple days ago?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
May
where I saw
it's
a couple
Memorial Day. So yes,
Oh yeah, Memorial Day. Ooh.
Andrew, ASMR Whiskey, thank you for pointing that out. Greatly appreciate it, man. We are definitely going to be showing a highlighted feature directly for Memorial Day. Thank you, man. I'm going to write that down before I forget.
You hit it right on the head when you say you don't appreciate freedom till you've lost it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There should be a definition, though, of what Memorial Day is for people. It's not Veterans Day.
To remember,
Memorial
it's not a celebration day. It's to remember.
It's to remember. But people don't, civilians don't understand that.
Right. There's
it's a day off for civilians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to realize what it was about, man. I'm telling you, like, I thank you every time for my freedom. I thank all you guys. And it's like, without guys like you, I wouldn't have the freedom, the life I get to live without you guys.
Yeah, Veterans Day
Me
is
too.
definitely different than Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, do not say Happy Memorial Day because that's not a thing.
No.
Yeah, that's not my jam. All right, so I'm gonna close out the live stream, and if anybody wants to join in the backstage to get into some uncut, unfiltered, I'll probably start crying because I usually do. I'm gonna play taps before we close out, but before we do, if anybody that has anything that they want to throw up, watching it live on the panel, anything you guys want to say before we go into taps.
You can buy Old Line online. Very easy. Go support them. If you want some good single malts, if you want some good stuff, I've got a sherry cask, and I actually have a rum finish cask, which is really good. They're not too expensive, and you know.
What's up, Ben?
Support veterans.
Oh, we're doing a little Old Line.
Anybody else got anything for the last call?
I'm going to finish.
I don't
this.
have anything, so
I'm going to finish this. Thank you, Mark.
Hey,
yeah, buddy.
For cheers to all those who served. Remember, everybody deployed. Red every day. Cheers, you all. Cheers to you.
Remember, everyone deployed.
Cheers.
Yep. There are 180,000 service members deployed overseas right now, or something like that.
Yeah.
Cheers to all of you. All you guys that are watching us live, I appreciate your guys' support because if you guys weren't here every month, I would not do this every month. I wouldn't have the motivation to do it. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. And all of you guys catching the replay, I appreciate you watching. And please let other veterans know about this so they know that they have other people to talk to and drink with. Appreciate you.
Cheers, brothers. Brothers and sisters.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And I'm going to close out with taps. Give you guys a couple more minutes to join in the backstage if you want to. If I don't want to, you don't want to.